of the Atlantic Ocean cannot push me down, because her story of strength, courage, and success pushed us from Douala to the southwest coastal city of Limbe after the nation's political capital and the southwest regional capital of Boya. She is a woman of substance, she is a woman of value, and her story, of course, after she was declared the Fako East Constituency Member of Parliament on the 30th of September 2013, has pushed us to come and celebrate her. So she will continue to carry out her outreach programs for the development of the nation Cameroon, so we can walk towards the emergence plan before 2035. Join us on the first Wednesday on LTM television is from 9:30 p.m. to watch this woman whose story is going to inspire you to build your own legacy, so we can come celebrate you in subsequent editions. Hello dear viewers, thanks for accepting us in your homes and this episode of Monuments. It is a pleasure that we leave the nation's political capital to the southwest regional capital, and now we are the southwest coastal city of Limbe to celebrate the first woman on this show in the month of March. Miracles are gifts of grace and therefore not worth paying for who pays for a gift? Celebrating the life of a God-fearing, hard-working and dedicated citizen par excellence, who is gifted to serve after the two other cities in the country of Cameroon. We are glad to have this lady who is a source of inspiration to many girls out there in the country and even in the continent. A sub-10 secretary of the 1967-1972 batch, her steadfast work with God and devotion in work raised her into Parliament after the results for the 30th of September 2013 dual municipal and parliamentary elections were declared. She is a patient, dynamic, creative and very accommodating person whose love for the people and faith in God has kept her steadfast in the difficult but possible walk with God. With years packed full with experience, engagements and her philanthropic gestures, her joyful and ceaseless praise to God in special Thanksgiving ceremonies keep her in action. We celebrate her as the first lady who has made a difference in her community on Monuments today, because she makes it happen. And we hope her story of success, strength, courage will be a source of hope to many young girls inside and out of Cameroon. Honorable Etombi Ikome Gladys is our guest of honor on this episode of Monuments broadcast on LTM television. It is a wonderful thing to have you on this show, Honorable.
I just don't know how to say thank you, but I'm truly honored, and I thank you for coming to make me guest of honor for this program.
Permit us to say Happy New Year and Happy Women's Day in advance. A lot has been happening around the world, and despite this lot, it has not stopped you from taking care of your community. The reason why we come to celebrate you on this edition of Monuments, so your story of success be a source of inspiration or hope to many other girls out there. What's that drive that keeps it going in you?
Well, I would like to say that what really keeps me going is my desire to serve humankind. I have a deep desire to always reach out to people of all categories. And that really, it really pushes me to a lot of things, and it has truly been able to help me to impact the many people that I come across each day.
President of Secretariat Cameroon, National Coordinator of NACOMEC, that's the National Combined English Choirs, counting over 800 choirs all over the national territory. Advisor of Fako Sisters in Rural Development, founder and director of Etombi Enterprise since 1978, and Member of Parliament for the Fako East Constituency. We've not cited all, We're going to cite all before the end of the show. That's to show you the dynamism in this woman. And today, her story should be a source of hope and strength to you out there if you just feel at some point in time you have to give up or you need to put an end to the story. Talk about the Women's Day around the corner. We'd like to have your assessment of this celebration and hope that what you tell the girls out there will make them understand it's a day to make them reflect on the problems that they have and seek possible solutions and not rather create more problems for the woman folk.
Yes, the Women's Day celebrations has evolved a lot over the years. And we have come to a point where women are conscious of the fact that it is not just a day to come out and, you know, make merry, but it's a day where women have to reflect on how they can better impact their communities, make their families better, have a better livelihood, and in fact, how they can contribute to make Cameroon an emerging nation. I think that many women are very conscious of those points now, and that is what makes the difference in the celebrations today.
How would you want them to mark this year's edition?
This year's edition, for me, I would love it to be a time where they can use, the people who organize can use it to create some groups, women's groups, which can be income generating. Because women are in many groups, but many of them are not income generating. And we need to get them to a point where they can come together under that canopy, knowing that they are coming together for that purpose, knowing that you can buy shares into a little group, and through those shares it can help the women to, you know, to revolve a loan scheme which can help them in different things. And there is a lot that we can do with very little, because somebody will say, hey, she's talking about buying shares, that is already high. No, we can buy shares. Shares can be sold at even 1,000 francs a share. Very, very affordable. And it is the interest and the mind that people would have to come into that kind of an association that really matters. And of course, the leadership of the association, because whoever is a leader must have a vision, and you must be able to sell that vision to the people. And once you can sell it properly, people would buy it, and then you can run with it. So I think that for this year, if we can look in that direction in our different women's forum, there are so many all over, and if we can look in that direction, I think it's going to help a lot.
Would you want to cite any women who have been of great assistance to you in your community and out of your community during your reign, as we are going to mark the 2015 edition of the International Women's Day?
Well, many women have been very supportive to me from the time. In fact, I don't want to, I've been in Parliament just for 1 year, but I have been in this community for over 30 years, actively. And many women have truly supported me. There are those who pray for me. There are those who encourage me. There are those who give ideas. You know, they build ideas and they sell it to you, and you know it's a good idea, so you pick it up and you run with it. And there are so many that, you know, on a program like this, the danger is that you can call names and you leave out 1 or 2 names and the people get upset. I don't want anybody to get upset, but I want everyone who has contributed to making me a success in life to know that I'm truly appreciative of what they did and what they are still doing to help me to continue.
On that famous day, the 30th of September 2013, news broke out that you would be a member of parliament representing the people of the Fako East Constituency. Were you expecting this news, or it came to you as a surprise?
I want to say that I expected the news, because I wasn't going in there to fail. I was going in there to succeed, and so in that light, I would say that I expected it. But when the news came, it dawned on me very heavily that it was a big weight which was on my shoulders, and it moved me to tears, knowing that I was looking for something, but when it came, the reality struck, and I realized the the magnitude of the responsibility which was put on my shoulders. And, I went on my knees and I thanked God and I just said, Lord, with you I can do all things because you strengthen me. And you are my rock and my refuge. I depend on you and I know that you will see me through. And I want to say that through it all, so far, God has seen me through.
The God-fearing woman behind the name Honorable Etombi Ikome Gladys. Now, when you went down on your knees to pray and thank God for this appointment or election, did you see your entrance into parliament as a divine call?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. In fact, for those who met with me from the beginning of the mandate, I made it clear that this position that I'm in today is completely the hand of God, because it is Him who actually put me in this office, and He is the one who has seen me through. So I believe that, yes, God is God, God is not man, and God can do it for anyone who is committed to His service, who is devoted to God's work. God has His plan and He will bring it to pass in our lives in different ways. So I just encourage people not to give up, because of course the road is not easy. It is a difficult road at all times, but it is true that we should just depend on God. God's time is the best, let me put it that way. And we should not rush into things, because I'm in parliament today, but I had attempted to go into parliament 2 or 3 times before. I didn't succeed, but I didn't give up, and I believe that this was God's time and God made it possible.
What are your best experiences so far since you're a member of parliament?
Good question. I want to say that I don't know what I have best experiences, but I have some challenges which have made me stronger and are giving me the push to go on. The biggest challenge is to meet the needs of the people. It is they are so demanding, and you sit back when you are on your own and you said, if all these people think that I can solve their problem, then I must do something. It is amazing, but many people do not understand what the office of parliamentarian is, and they look at it like an office which has come to, I don't know how to put it, but an office which can solve all their problems. Yes. And I think that the biggest challenge that I have had and the biggest satisfaction that I have had is to reach out to people, and to the few whom I have been able to actually meet their needs, to have that satisfaction that, oh yes, at least I did something to support them, to help them. And I want to say that I say a few, but they are a good number. I would like to cite here the first thing that I decided to do was to reach out to the sick, women who suffered from fistulas, vesico-vaginal fistulas. It's a dreaded situation. But when I got to understand what it was and how much people were suffering from it, I took the decision to help in my own little way. And the first year in office, I reached out to about 10 women. And it's a situation which can only be corrected through surgery. And they had the surgery, and we had 95% success in it. And people who had suffered for 18 years, for 12 years, for 10 years, now are feeling free. They can mix with people. They can live their lives like normal human beings. And I was blessed to help a few of them who live around the Limbe to place them in little jobs which can reinstate them into the community. And you don't know the satisfaction that that gave to me. It's so expensive, but what is money if you can't use it to help people? And, you know, when I see these young women today, they are so full of life. They are so happy. They can live their lives over. In fact, what I did was put smiles back on their faces. And I think that to God be the glory.
Oh, this is so beautiful. And I was going to ask you this question. Who is God to you?
God is my Father, my Savior, my Redeemer, my friend. He is my all and in all. I depend on him. I have learned to depend on him. I have learned to trust him. I tell you, life, you see me today, but I have gone through mountains and valleys, lots of problems. But one thing is sure, that through it all, God was there with me each step of the way. And he saw me through, you know, in mysterious ways. That there are times when you just say, oh my goodness, this is the end of it. But God will lift you up, and you can't even explain how you got out of that kind of a situation. But I tell you, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and he will never leave you alone. He would always be there to see you through. All you need to do is to be patient. Know that his time is best. Pray for grace to be able to wait upon the Lord at all times.
And so you praise and worship God for who he is in all circumstances and at all times. What did you do when you were elected?
Let me just cut you in here. You know, many times people say we make Thanksgiving ceremonies because things good have happened to you.
Yes.
When in my congregation, many years ago, about 8 years, 10 years ago, I came to the congregation one day and I told my pastor, I am going to give a Thanksgiving. He said, for what? I said, Pastor, you will know when I stand in front of the congregation. And he laughed. That morning he called me up and I told the church, I said, I'm standing in front of them to give thanks to God for the problems I have faced, because I was going through a lot of difficulties. And I was praying, and, you know, at a certain point, I just told myself, I said, okay, the Bible says in everything we should give thanks. Why shouldn't I give thanks to God for the problems and the difficulties and the failures that I had experienced? And I went ahead and I thanked God for it. And I tell you, at the end of it, the pastor said, okay, I should stand up for prayers. And I said, no, Pastor, not just for me. For everyone else in the congregation who is going through difficult moments. Please stand up, let them pray for all of us. And I was shocked that almost everybody in the congregation stood up. So you see, there are many people who have problems, but they don't share them, and no one would know. But, you know, in an opportunity like that, many people reacted. And I left refreshed, and I just, my burdens were lifted, because I said, thank you, Lord, for the difficulties that I was facing.
Oh my God. Talk about Thanksgiving. Last year, you gave a Thanksgiving ceremony at the Ebenezer Baptist Church, which coincided with your birthday. And you told the Sun newspaper about the beat in the pipeline and how God has been wondrous. He's been so marvelous in your life. You were hoping to be able to support health centers and hospitals, which are not well equipped and need urgent attention. You talked about the Fistula project. Now, how far have you gone with the implementation of all these projects in the pipeline? There were a bit in the pipeline, but I know many of them are already implemented.
Yes, a good number are implemented. I would like to say that not to my satisfaction yet, but we have started. The Fistulas program, I said in the beginning that was going to run through my mandate. And we did the first year, and this year also we are going to carry it through. In education, I visited more than 20 schools and encouraged excellence in the schools. I donated prizes to those who deserve them. And I supported other schools with equipment, benches, and what they really needed in the rural areas. I assisted the farming groups around town. I actually organized a workshop to help them, to educate them on better skills on how to do their planting so that their harvest will be better. And at the end of it all, I gave them, I made a donation of farm tools and inputs to all these groups. And I think that for 1 year, we did, of course, I visited the handicapped in the association. I support them. In fact, I have a handicap that I support monthly to go to school to learn interior decorating. There are others that I have supported to pay school fees in their schools because they go to evening schools, and some of them have gotten even up to the level of writing their O levels. There are many scholarships I gave to Moyuka, to orphans, and I didn't end with the scholarships. I also went a step further to pay for the GC registration for all of them who were in examination classes. And those little things that we have been doing, we have supported a cross-section of things. I supported the Youth Impact Youth Summer Impact Program, which is a program that I believe so much in because it takes time to help the youth to know, help them in career orientation, teach them manners, behavioral manners, how to dress, how to meet up in society. Those are the things that I love doing, and God has helped me now to be able to do them even more than I used to do before.
Why the passion, and are the attendees representing the lot in the society after these capacity building seminars?
Well, many of them are actually doing a lot when they come to these capacity building seminars, because you meet some people who were not present, but they tell you that the individuals have come to them to explain what they benefited from and encourage them that next time there is something they shouldn't miss out. I think that a good number of them are learning from the seminars and workshops, and they are not keeping the information to themselves. They are trying to share it with others.
Organizing capacity building seminars has been an issue of concern for Honorable Etombi Ikome Gladys, who is trying by all means to imbibe these children, the women, with skills that they need to grow with so that they can advance in their different traits or maybe in their different spheres of work. She also worked on a project where many women were treated. They were women with fistulas, or women who had been suffering from fistulas were treated, and surgical operations were carried upon these women, and they are now fine, they are healthy, and this put a smile on their faces, and they live with hope, knowing that tomorrow is always better. Now let's go and have a testimony from the medic, right, of some of these women, and we'll be back for more on Monuments with the Honorable.
Who is loving, caring, has a heart for people. She is sympathetic and cares even for the underprivileged. Yes, I saw her as a child, and the activities that were carried on by her mother could have molded her to be the person that she is. Because as a student, I saw what the mother did. She used to bring them to church, and all of them would sing and would listen and enjoy the music. I think she had to learn from what the mother did. She did not just allow them sing for her alone, but she brought them out to a group of people, to a number of people in the congregation who would listen to their music and appreciate it. So I believe very strongly that her life today has been molded by what the mother did in her own life when she was a child. Her life is a life of hard work. You know, nothing good comes easy. She's been a hard worker. As you can see, she leads in many groups. And leadership is not an easy thing. For other girls to emulate this kind of character, they have to, first of all, be committed. And when they are committed, they have to be responsible. When they are responsible, they have to imitate the right thing that she is doing. Then can they emulate her character and perhaps follow what she's doing.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching Monuments on LTM Television. Our guest of honor today, the first lady on the show, is Honorable Etombi Ikome Gladys, who is Member of Parliament representing the Fako East Constituency in the southwest region of Cameroon. Since she was elected as the Member of Parliament, she's done enormous works for the people of this community. She's helped the women, like the children, like the youth, who are, of course, the greatest natural resource of the country. Remember, we celebrated the 49th edition of the National Youth Day days back under the theme Youth and the Preservation of Peace for an Emergent Cameroon. And if these youth are not employed, if they are not brought to become self-reliant, I wonder the kind of peace they are going to build, talk less of preserving. But that's exactly what she's doing in our community, because a hungry man, they say, you know, is an angry man. And if they are not hungry with the way she has brought them up through this capacity building seminars, of course they're not going to be angry. They will show build and preserve peace. We continue with her after taking the testimonial of these women whose lives, they were suffering in the past, but thanks to her intervention, her timely intervention, oh my God, they're wearing smiles today. You could see them on those pictures, and you could hear the doctor talk. We'll continue with other projects that she's been carrying on for the Fako East Constituency. And then you build capacities for farmers to train and have them equipped on how best to improve their farming habits. You did not end there. You offer them input and equipment. And let's just find out from you, how was this added impetus to the agricultural industry of the Fako East Constituency and the Southwest region in general?
Thank you, Ami. I think that it was very positive, and it has improved on the way that these farmers do farming. The lectures were based on maize, plantains, and cassava. And many of them have come back to the office to report about the success and how well they are doing with the things which were given to them for planting. So I believe that it has gone a long way to improve on their livelihood, and of course their harvest will be better. And once the harvest is better, of course you have more sales and you have more money to help your families and yourself.
With an open functional parliamentary office open to the public, what kind of services can the people find there? When I listened to you talk at the beginning of the show, you mentioned the fact that they see this office as a solution to all your problems.
Well, we run a functional parliamentary office which is open daily from Monday to Friday, 7:30 to 4 p.m. And in this office, you can come in with your challenges. You can come in with suggestions on what you think should be done in the constituency. You can come in come in to support us, to encourage us. And we have people who come in in all those areas I have mentioned. And it is interesting to know that there are days when you receive more than 30 people, and they are all diverse in their requests and in the way that they look at life and the situations that they face. But one thing is clear: we are open to the public. And when I say people, the whole constituency comes. People from all political leanings and all ages, all, the physically challenged, everybody comes in. And I'm just glad that we have an office where we can receive them at all times.
And you can also come in to say thank you, right? and make sure you also come in to celebrate her, because it's not all about receiving in life. Hey, you need to encourage the people who are helping you, and maybe out of your small things, come and show gratitude.
No, I want to say that the people of this constituency show gratitude, and they say thank you.
Oh, that's great. That's a good thing, because when you know how to say please, I'm sorry, and thank you, many good things turn around you all the time. She's visited more than 20 schools during end-of-year graduation and prize award ceremonies. She's given gifts and other inputs, school inputs to be precise, to support youth seminars during a summer holiday in churches and also church conventions for women. Can you tell us how easy or challenging has this enriching exercise been?
It has been enriching, because when I go to schools, one of the things I insisted on was recognition of integrity. And, you know, when I brought it up, many of the principals said, why? I said, yes, that's what I want.
Yes.
From this young age, children should know that integrity matters in life.
Yes.
And they should be able to build whatever they are doing, and they should have integrity in whatever they are doing. And I think I was happy the way it went, because you see the children, last year was the first year, but now they know that there is recognition that comes in that direction, and they work towards it. And of course, there are many, we do with recognition in children with mathematics, you know, girls in mathematics. Now so many girls are doing well in mathematics.
It's no longer the issue of boys.
So all of that, you know, gives me joy to see that some children really excel. And sometimes we even encourage not just those who excel, but those who make a conscious effort to become better. And the school knows those kind of children, and we encourage them also, because we know that if they are encouraged, they would even work harder to do better. So yeah, so I feel really fulfilled in that direction, that children are being encouraged. For instance, those in the upper SIG who are recognized, you make provision for them to go into the university because of the kind of gifts that we give. We give varied gifts, but we give gifts which is going to help them in their next stage of life. So I think that we're going to continue in that direction, and we'll continue to support children.
Honorable Etombi Ikome Gladys is indeed taking the population to Parliament, and with all these projects implemented on the ground and executed before deadline, you can only trust her more and encourage her in the community. How far have you gone with the capacity building program in different fields for youth employment, especially in the development of ICTs? We talked about the one on agriculture.
Oh yes, we organized a seminar for ICTs for...
Because youths are making use of social media and they become victims at the end of the day.
Yes, and during the seminars we try to educate them on the ills of ICTs, because ICTs are very good if you use them for the right purpose. But there are many people who want to use them for other things which are not.
They're looking for husbands.
Looking for husbands.
They want to hack others.
Others. You know, all those kind of negative things. We try to encourage them that when you use the ICTs for profitable things, for instance, you use the ICTs to search for in the agricultural domain, we gave them some opportunities of knowing the different people who can help for different things, who help in small businesses, small industries, transformation at small levels. Those are the things that we try to ask them to use the ICTs to get, because you can use the internet to get that kind of profitable information, which would help you. And it is true that it cannot be 100%, but we're doing that for women and for youth. And the women in the buy and sell and markets, we are using it to help them to know that even at that level, they need to network with others, because there are many opportunities that we cannot access because we do not network. I know I have been in business for so long, and I have given lectures to many people. I know of opportunities. For instance, if you need to be able to sell, let's take beans for a start. You as a single person, you might not be able to have the number of bags of beans that you need to be able to supply to another country. Because we're talking of import and export, we are educating them that you make more money when you can export the things that you have. But you cannot go into that kind of business until you are sure of the network, and you know that you can contact 10 women at any given time and you'll be able to have 20 bags of beans. And you see, that is the strength of the ICTs, the power of the ICTs, that we all need to truly get to emergence. Because as soon as you can get into international market, then you are one step ahead. You make more money. Of course, you have more challenges, no doubt, but you make more money and your livelihood just changes.
Now, with all these philanthropic gestures and committed projects, would you say there are still some issues that could slow down development and emergence in the Fako East Constituency?
Well, yes, I would say that. And I think one of the things that slows down development is negative thinking. And when there is negative thinking, there is slander, there is blackmail, those things don't help. But I want to say that when you are being blackmailed, when they are throwing stones at you, you should not just look at it from the negative side of it. You should always remember that if they are throwing stones at you, it means that you are a tree with ripe fruits, and the people are throwing those stones to pluck those fruits. So you should not pick the stones that they are using to throw at you, to throw back at them, but you should let them harvest the fruits of your life, which is going to be like a light to them, to help them also to know that it is good to have a tree full of ripe fruits, which those fruits bring satisfaction and joy to others when they eat them. So in our lives, we should always look at it that, well, when they throw stones at you, when they blackmail you, when they slander you, it is not only the negative part of it, but look at the fact that if they are doing that to you, it is because you are strong and because you are making an impact. That is why they want to drag you down. But please don't get to their level. Don't let them drag you down. Drag them up so that more people would be like you and can do more for the community.
Is the high rate of unemployment and disease and poverty the cause of these negative thinking?
I don't want to think that way, because there are many people who are employed who get involved in blackmail and slander. And there are those who are not employed, who are people with integrity, people who build the community. So I think it's a matter of the mind. It's the way that people think in their minds. It's the mindset of people. And one thing that can help us in our country today is to build the right mindset about development in our country, about helping our country to get to emergence. If we have the right mindset, then of course we'll be moving forward and we would all be able to get to emergence. But without the right mindset, especially in the workplace, the right mindset in the workplace. Many Cameroonians do not have the right mindset about work. When they are looking for work, they would write the applications and they can virtually sleep on the floor for you to work on them because they are looking for a job. But as soon as they get the job, then you start wondering whether those are the same people who wanted those jobs so badly. They don't do anything to perform and to deliver. Yeah. But I think that if we all work in our mindsets to build the right mindset about work, the right mindset about working for yourself and for others and for the state, then we would have moved forward.
And she has the right mindset. She has done incredibly well for the Fako East Constituency, and she is a model to Cameroonians in and out of the country. And let me tell you that this mindset did not only come about because she was elected and that declaration that was made on the 30th of September 2013, but it was something that grew in her from childhood. We talked to some people who witnessed this talent, this asset in her way back those days of Seka. This is what they had to say. We'll be right back for more.
Well, let me just state that she's so young. She wasn't there when I was a student of Seka Baptist College. But I knew her as a child because her mom was very instrumental in our school life. She was a Christian woman. She is a Christian woman. And she sang during our evening services at Mispa Baptist Church, taught us a lot of choruses and songs which we sing up until today. And so I knew her as a young girl, as her mom and her parents, Chief Ikome Gladys, who brought them, she along with her other siblings, to church. But I got to knowing her way back from 1978, when I got back to work in Victoria at the time. And she had just come back from the United States, where she had lived for a while. And we got together. I want to say very frankly that, in fact, she was part of the formation of what we now call ex-Sicarets. Because in 1978, I think it must be November, she and I and Sister Maria Mukete and Mrs. Grace Njumbe, she used to be Grace Ebai at the time, and Sister Mbu Mary were the very first ones who started the nucleus of what is now EXA. And we had that first meeting in Victoria Club in 1978. And from then, I have been in touch with her up until this day. And so I think I am one person who can talk about her. I think I did. I think I did. Because she was one person who would say what she wanted and say it in the strongest terms. She made it clear that this was her position. And I think that we saw all of this in her because at one time she has been the president of EXA Limbe chapter, which we call the mother chapter because this is where it was hatched. And she has been our national president. We worked together on the project of building the chapel of Seka Baptist College, which cost something like 200 million. And, you know, we have worked together in the party. She has been the president of the WCPDM in Fako section. And you know that it is now that Fako has been split up into several sections. It used to be one big section. And so she has always displayed these leadership skills. And I thank God that finally she has assumed the role of leading us in this constituency to bring our aspirations, our anxieties to national level. I think the bulk of the women are happy that she has assumed that role. I want to say that many people may not know, but this association of ex-students of Seka Baptist College really took off when she was president. We went places. As you know, no other ex-student association rivals EXA in this country, or in the United States, or in Europe, in Canada, Germany, wherever. We are in a class of our own, everywhere. And it is not a boast, so to speak. I think we imbibed what it takes to be together in solidarity, because our motto is love, unity, and sisterhood. And we've maintained love, unity, and sisterhood around the world. And I like to say, in her time, we inaugurated many more chapters. And it is the way she carried on in Cameroon that gave impetus to the ex-students in the diaspora to start coming together to say, listen, this thing that is happening in Cameroon has to happen amongst us wherever we are in the world. And I think we owe it to her. I am not exactly sure how many people will agree with me, but being here from 1977 as a grown-up and worker, I think that I can say that with no ambiguity.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching Monuments, and she's our first female guest on Monuments, this show that celebrates people who do extraordinary things out of ordinary means. So their stories of strength, success, hope, and even failure, because they also have challenges during your ride, or maybe during your ride to success, can inspire you all to be steadfast in the work. After all, the rose plant has thorns around it, right? And if you must have the beauty of the rose flower, then sometimes you need to prick your hands on the thorn. Now let's go and find out a little bit more about her constituency, and then we find out the business when she realized it and how she started working on it to become the big conglomerate under the Etombi enterprise. Since 1978, you must know that. But back to you, Honorable. My God, it's not easy. I'm sitting beside an honorable. What political issues do you think the Fako East Constituency must identify and develop for Cameroon to reach emergence by 2035?
Politically, I think that everyone should know that I belong to the ruling party, the CPDM, which is a party which has a visionary at the head, President Paul Biya. He is someone who sees far ahead, and he moves the people to understand what he has seen and to follow him. And I am truly glad that I belong to this party, the CPDM. And the CPDM party is a party that brings together everybody. And you know that unity is strength. And in the CPDM, we have the women, we have the youth, we have the men. And the women and the youth are encouraged to belong to groups that are sustainable. For you to have a group which is sustainable, that means that you are generating some sort of income to help you and all that. I believe that the vision that the party has to put people together, to educate people on living in harmony and in peace. If there is no peace, there is no harmony, no matter what type of business you bring in, it will not work. But so we learn this mindset in that party, the CPDM, and to live together peacefully with one another and to be able to support each other in the different things that we do. But of course, you know that when you carry many calabashes together, they knock themselves and they make noise. That happens in our party also. But it doesn't mean that we break the calabashes, because we know that we always use them to carry water and to carry oil that we take to our villages. So I believe that as a party, the CPDM is doing its best to help everyone to move towards emergence.
Permit me to ask you this question. It's coming from Michelle. She's watching us from Canada. She says, how is it possible, because the National Party chairman, coincidentally, is also the president of the Republic of Cameroon. And each 10th of February, he has an address for the youth. And last year, he promised 250,000 employment opportunities. On the 31st of December, he promised 280,000 employment opportunities. And this year, he promised an additional 350,000 employment opportunities. What Michelle would like to know is the possibility of those guys preserving peace when they only see such opportunities in figures and not concretely on the field.
Oh no, sorry. Well, I want to say that these figures are concrete on the field. Anyone who does not think that these opportunities are there, then they are not looking through the right lens. There are, in fact, maybe more opportunities than are on paper. Because, of course, many companies, when we talk of grand chantiers, they are all over the country and they employ people. Do you know the number of people they employ there? And I think that the vision is good. The problem we are having with our youth is that they are not going into the technical fields which are highly solicited. And once you get into those virgin fields, then of course you are going to be picked up without you knowing, because the companies are coming. I know, and I tell you, there are grand chantiers all over. In Boya the other day, the mayor was signing a BOT contract to build the market. Of course, they're going to employ the youth. Who are going to be working there? They are going to be Cameroonians, mostly. I know that in Limbe, the government delegate is going to be carrying out the projects for the left bank beach. And you have to know that those are opportunities for employment. So when the president makes those commitments, it is because he knows the grand chantiers which are coming and the number of people that are going to be employed in them. So I want to tell my sister in the USA that our president and the chairman of my party doesn't just speak off cuff, but he says what is real, and the things are actually real. Many people were saying that, no, the bridge in Douala was not going to be. Have you seen how far it has gone? And have you ever taken time to look at those who are working there? They are all young people. So I think that we should be positive in our thinking and try to appreciate what is on the ground.
And so the number one personality says what he means, and he means what he says.
Yes, the President of the Republic says what he means, and he makes sure that what he says he will do, he does his best that it comes to pass.
What's your wish for the Fako East Constituency?
My wish for the Fako East Constituency is that the many things that we have coming to us, by God's grace. When I say that, some people don't take it kindly, but I think that they should understand that a lot of those things that we have is because we are in Fako East. We have the deep sea port which is coming, and it is because we are by the sea. You cannot have a deep sea port if you are not by the sea. So my greatest wish is to see that project take off. And then, of course, there are many other things. The fisheries school that has been built in Sokolo, I want to believe that it should go operational, because those billions of CFA francs have been put in there, and it is not yet operational. And of course, you know that the longer things stand without being used, the more they depreciate. So that's one of my greatest desires for Fako East. And of course, the stadium that we are so proud of, the access roads should be done. And those are things that we really want to come to us. We know they are coming, but they should come a little faster so that we can all be able to appreciate and use those facilities.
Many laud your philanthropic gestures. Just how far, what extra mile would you go to right the wrongs in your constituency and the Republic in general?
That's a very difficult question. The extra mile I would go is that I would try and use the lobbying powers that I have to lobby for more things to come to the constituency. And we cannot really do much in the office that we occupy, but what we can do is to reach out to the people who can bring those things that we know are necessary for our community. And once you can lobby for those kind of things, I think that we're going to be moving a little faster than we are now.
Thanks so very much. When and how did you bow into politics? Was it after your business thrived through the Etombi Enterprise conglomerate?
Oh, well, I would say no, because I have been in politics for a long time also. Politics at different levels. Every human being is a politician in one way or the other. In the house, you do politics. When you have your little brothers and sisters, of course, politics plays. So
it's not diplomacy, it's politics.
No, it's politics.
Politics.
I have been in fact, I would say active politics from a little girl. My mom was, I would say in her days, was a politician. In fact, I remember as a little girl when President Ahijo came to Limbe, my mother is the one who wore him the coronet of flowers. And it's amazing. So sometimes you see those little things and they impact your life. And I have been in the youth department of the parties from CNU. We're running around. Maybe we didn't really know what we were doing, but we were following the crowd and we're moving on. But as I grew older, I discovered that for you to be able to impact your communities, you needed to belong to a political party. And I chose the CPDM because I believe in their vision, and I saw that through them I could be able to do a little more. And in fact, I was the first pioneer WCPDM president of Fako 1. And in the days where I was a section president, I tell you, the party, we did a lot. It was in my reign that we organized the first joint Fako sections conference of the WCPDM. And everybody was astonished. But as I tell you, you must have a vision. You must know where you're going, and you must be able to know how to carry people there. I got recognition from the National Bureau, and they wanted to know how I did it so that other people should do it. And that is how many other divisions started having their joint conferences. And of course, in my section at the time, every year, every subsection had a subsection conference. And the idea was to help them to build income-generating projects and to have things that they could exhibit. So at the end of the year, when we had the Fako 1 conference, they came and they exhibited the different things that they were doing. They were planting vegetables, they were selling oil, they were selling firewood, they were making soap. There were a lot of things. And it helped the women to stay together and to be able to grow from there. I'm glad that many of them are still using those skills today.
Talk about many of them. Let's remember one. We lost her to the cold hands of death early this year at the Central Hospital in the nation's political capital. She was not a crowd follower like you. She made things happen just the way you're doing. We're talking about Francoise Phoning. What relation did you have with her?
I want to say that it's a big loss. And I knew her closely because when she just started GFAC, which was an association for business women, yes. I was a member, Southwest member. And then I came to be in Serac with her for many years. And she's a real animator. That is, she is someone who believes in what she believes, and she shows you that that's what I want and that's how I want it done. In the party, I have met her in many occasions in different places, and you know, she was a real party militant. It's a big loss for the CPDM because those kind of people are not many. People who are outspoken and would stand for what they want at all times. And I just believe that it is good to do what you can do when you are there to do it, and don't postpone, because if she was pushing things, she wouldn't have been able to achieve all that she achieved. But she was one who would think of it and go right ahead to do it. I think that that is a plus, and that's something that we can learn from her. No, it doesn't matter. You don't. It doesn't really matter. But you do what you are convinced that you need to do at the time.
Indeed, if you think it, you can do it. And I even have a better way of putting it. If you think it and you work for it, then you will get it. You are a go-getter. And let me just remind you that she's the president of the Sacred Rights Association. She is the national coordinator of NACOMEC. She's an advisor to the Fako Sisters and Rural Development Project. And she is also the founder and director of Etombi Enterprise. Let's talk about this, your leadership. Let's talk a little bit, about this, your leadership positions. Because it's not easy to be a member of parliament who worries about the welfare of people. There's so many of them in the Fako East Constituency. And then you're still able to manage all these organizations. I'm sure I've listed just a few. I have not listed all of them. How do you go about it?
Yeah, it is difficult to list all of them. But I would say that where there is a will, there is always a way. And for all these places where I have been or I am still in leadership positions, it is very simple. It is the people who want me to be there. Yes. Because there are many times when you actually tell them that, please, I don't want it, and they insist. And I believe that when God has decided that you are going to lead at that time, the people, it is shown through the people. For NACOMEC, which is the National Combined English Choirs of the Cameroon Baptist Convention, we are 12 years old. And from its inception, I have been the national coordinator. It's something I love doing, singing praise to God. And when the idea came 12 years ago to have a national combined English choir, the idea was bought from Limbe, which had a combined English choir, which was led by the late Penwell Malafa. And everyone saw that it was a good idea. But when the challenge came to make it national, it was a very big challenge because it's not easy to get everybody together. But God has been gracious to us, and He has been faithful. We have had music directors who are committed to the cause, like Pastor Gabe. In fact, it's a blessing to the choir. They go around in all the zones. We have 12 zones, and they teach the songs. So when we come together, 800 of us, during our annual concerts, we sing like one person, and that is the strength of the choir. We have had the opportunity of making many CDs, and the difference with our CDs is that we do not put 8 or 6 songs on one CD. We put 20, 22. It's like a bonus because we use it for evangelism. And it has really been a blessing to many people all over the world. And we just thank God for this. And then for Fako Sisters in Rural Development, FASIRUD, we are almost 20 years old as an association. We are very few of us. We are only about 8 of us in that group. But they are committed ladies, and the goal, the aim of the association is to train the underprivileged children, girls especially, but now we take in boys also. We give them profitable skills, and we place them after training. They have training for 9 months, some of them, some a little more than 9 months. And then after that, we place them in hotels. We train them in catering, sewing, and computer, and all that. So it is something that we have been doing over the years. The children come to the school free. It is a school that we run, actually. And it is free because the members contribute to make the
dreams of these children become a reality.
True, exactly. And it hasn't been easy, but it has succeeded. In fact, someone reported to us once that they traveled abroad to France, and in the hotel, they met one of the girls that we had trained there. And when he looked, I said, "Are you a Cameroonian?" They say, "Yes." He said, "Where did you train?" He said, "FASIRUD." So we were so happy that, okay, we are international. And that gives us the push to know that the children that we are helping are also helping themselves.
Yeah, that's very, very important, because when you plant seeds and they don't germinate, you begin to ask yourself if you planted the seeds on rocks or you planted them on fertile ground. Now, the founder and director of Etombi Enterprise, tell us a little bit about your beginnings, your humble beginnings, and was this a guarantee to your political explosion?
No, not a guarantee to political explosion, but let me just say that my very humble beginnings started in 1978. When I came back to this country. In fact, you don't know much about me. I have I've gone through a lot. When I left Seka Baptist College, I was in the first batch of people who were accepted into the Prisons Training and Retraining Center in Boya. So I went to that school and I was selected among the 10 who stayed back to do the officers' course. I did the officers' course, and in fact, I am the first lady superintendent of prisons in Cameroon. But I worked in BANDA prisons as chief wardress and in Akonolinga prisons as the superintendent of prisons. I worked there for under a year, and I just couldn't. My spirit couldn't handle what I saw the people going through in the prison.
Human rights not respected.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but it's just that it was a difficult thing for me because, as a person, it's.
You can't imagine that you go through that.
It was taking a lot of strength from me.
Mm-hmm.
So, I had the opportunity of going to the United States at that time. Then I went to the United States. When I came back, I started Etombi Enterprise, and very humble beginnings. I opened the first, if not one of the first, beauty shops in Limbe. I was doing hairdressing, and I had a beauty shop, actually. So a lot of those things started, and then I moved on. That's the advantage that I have. I have always been able to move on. And when I started moving on, I started doing contracts, supplies, little supplies. And then, of course, I opened the first, I was the first company who started cleaning services in offices. It was something which was not known here at that time, but I started it. I decorated the Mines and Power at the time, their building here in Limbe. And I wrote a letter to the minister saying that after doing soft furnishings, carpeting, curtains, they needed someone to clean the office daily to keep up those things. And he saw my point, and they gave me the contract. So you see, so I say I've been moving on. And then, of course, I moved on to construction, and I still do interior decorating. And construction and industrial maintenance, which I did in Sonara for a long time. I was one of the first women who worked in Sonara, and I was painting the torch where the light comes from. When they have the shutdown in Sonara, I got the contract 4 or 5 times to paint it. And everybody was just surprised that, why a woman? But I tell you, if you are committed and dedicated and convinced of what you are doing, you can do it. It is not impossible. So Etombi Enterprise has been Etombi Enterprise since 1978. That tells you a lot, that Etombi Enterprise is Etombi Enterprise. I'm not afraid of my name. I don't change business name. It is the same business name. Yeah. And what was your question?
What services do we find at Etombi Enterprise?
Well, at the moment, what I do construction, I do road maintenance, and interior decorating. That is what Etombi Enterprise does up to today. And I want to say that you asked a question about politics and Etombi Enterprise. Well, Etombi Enterprise is what's actually fueled me into politics, because you don't go into politics empty-handed. You need to have a base. And I cannot tell you everything I have done in Etombi Enterprise, but I want to tell you that Etombi Enterprise is proud of its work. Everything that I have been called to do, I have done it well, and people have appreciated it. And over the years, I have had jobs because of other jobs that I did. And people were asked, oh, who did this? And they say, Etombi Enterprise. And they call me, and I come to perform. So I want to encourage young women. It is not easy, but it is possible. All of us cannot be employed by government. We must be creative. We must be able to know that we must work hard. Nothing comes easy. The challenges are there. But once you are working for yourself and you overcome those challenges, you are satisfied with yourself and you know you can move on. And life continues. So I just encourage young men and women to try and be creative, find something to do, and whatever it is that you do in life, do it well. When I started the cleaning services, people said, hey, are you sure she came from America? How can she be doing that kind of work? But I tell you, that is the work that paid me the most money because of what they were paying per month and what I was paying the people that I employed. I mean, there's no comparison. Money has no color. You need to work for money, do your best, and you will be paid for it. Honesty pays out. And in fact, my motto in Etombi Enterprise is that the friendship and faithfulness of those we serve is the foundation of our success. So if you are honest, if you are faithful, if you are committed to the work that you are doing, people would appreciate and people would support what you are doing. So I think that many more people should get into business so that we can together help our country to move to emergence.
This is incredible, so beautiful. She's been first on several projects, and we're so honored to know that we are the first to talk to her on such an interview in the year 2015, with her being the first female, the first lady, the first woman of substance to be celebrated on the Monument Show. Can you tell us about your future projects in 2015 and beyond?
Yes, my future projects is, the first thing is that I want to make sure that I consolidate the things that I have started to do, and then I will be able to move to the next step with the things that I am doing, because many of the things that I'm doing are ongoing. There are things which do not finish in 1 year, but you need to carry them through over the years. One of my greatest satisfactions is the number of people and families that I have supported through Etombi Enterprise by employing them, gainful employment for them to do the work that I'm called to do. And it gives me joy to know that through that medium I have been able to reach out to many people and to employ many people. And I hope that in 2015, God will bless us with some jobs in Etombi Enterprise, because when the jobs come, of course, many people benefit and many people are reached out to. So we just trust God that He will do what He has planned to do for 2015.
There was a law on terrorism sometime 2014 that created a lot of confusion. Many people did not understand the context and content of this law. Maybe you help us understand the context and content of this law. And can this law put an end to the acts of terror that the country is suffering from in the far north region? We've had 7,500 soldiers coming from the United Nations to assist the defense force of the Cameroonian side at war front. We've had 50 billion CFA francs donated by the Economic Community of Central African States in a just ended meeting that held in the nation's political capital. There will be a patriotic march on the 28th of February 2015 in Yaoundé to put an end to these acts of terror and violence threatening the peace of Cameroon, which is a substantial asset to development, thus emergence, which Mr. Biya is preaching and working for ahead of 2035. Can we have a bit of that, a little context and content of that law on terrorism and how it can really fight these barbaric and dehumanizing acts carried out by fellow human beings in the far north region of Cameroon?
Well, thank you, Ami. It's a very sensitive point, but I'm glad you brought it up. I want to say that the law in itself cannot stop terrorism, but it is made to help to deter people, because there are many people who do things and who are just cowards or who are just copycats, and it is meant to deter them, because if you know the punishment that awaits you, many times you think twice before you go ahead and do it. And Many people didn't understand the rationale behind the law. But what I would like to say is that Cameroonians should have confidence in their members of parliament. Before a law is passed, we go through it and we debate it and we look at all the corners and all the possibilities and all the negative parts and all, we look at it as a whole. And people should know that that is what goes on. It is not as if we just sit and decide on something, but it is for the interest of the people. What we do in parliament is for the interest of the whole nation. And we are part of the nation. So you cannot think that we would do things which are not good for us as citizens also. We really hope that people would understand the goodness in this law. The law has everything, because if it even gives opportunities for those who are arrested to be tried. They are going to be tried. They are going to be given all the opportunities to defend themselves before any final decision is taken on them. So you see that the law is there, but all the checks and balances have been put in place to make sure that no one is treated negatively because of bias or because of anything like that. And it is because you have been caught in that act, which is, of course, we all agree is a terrible act, that you are going to face the death penalty. I think that so far, many people are beginning to understand the rationale because they are actually seeing the dangers of terror. We had never been exposed to it to this degree, but now, how on earth would you explain to me that a human being comes and meets people sitting and they just start beheading people? It's a terrible thing. So, and we should be able to handle it in that light. I'm a believer in the Lord, and I know that the Bible says that you should not kill for any reason. But the country is ruled by laws, and those laws must be implemented for us to live in peace and in security.
We thank you so very much for taking out time off your busy schedule to give us the opportunity to celebrate the woman that you are, the woman of substance, the value, the assets that we have in Cameroon as your humble personality. And we so graced to have you as the first female on this program, Monuments, and we hope that this will open doors for many more women who want to be like you in the future.
Well, I just trust God that many more people would come up. Maybe will not be like me, but will be better than me, because they will do things even better than I am doing. And in all of it, I want to say glory be to God, because it is by God's grace that I have been able to do whatever it is that I have been able to do. And I trust Him and I depend on Him to lead me on and to show me the way to do even more for my people. My greatest desire is to reach out to my people and to make my community a better place to live in. I thank you so much, Ami, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. May the Lord bless you, Rich.
Thank you so very much. We've been talking to Honorable Etombi Ikome Gladys, the Fako East Member of Parliament, representing you all in the Southwest region. You've heard the different projects that she's carried out, and you've seen that she's a woman who leads with her heart. I remember I was talking to South African Annalise with her Most Influential Woman project, and she said the best leaders are those who lead with your hearts. And she's one who leads with her heart as a mother of the nation, as a mother of a community, as the mother of a people. And this is the least we can do for her, to celebrate her and make her understand she is the monument and the history of Cameroon. And we look forward to have many more girls. Like she said, she would want you to become better than her. She would want you to become like her, and why not better than her? But if you must be like her and be better than her, then you need to work hard. You need to be devoted. You need to be committed. But most of all, you must fear God. Inside all of what she's doing, she is a big-time believer. She fears God. She has faith in God, and there's nothing she does without putting her nails on the ground to seek guidance and wisdom from the Most High God. Thanks so much for taking us in your homes, and we hope that in 2 weeks' time we'll have another big lady to celebrate on Monuments in the month of March. Until then, keep striving, keep smiling, and keep building a legacy that we will celebrate on subsequent editions of Monuments.